Alright. Next map is going to be Destination. We've got BigFan for Stealth Bunnies versus IWAY. That's right. So BigFan is going to be our Terran at the 12 o'clock position, red, and IWAY is going to be our green Zerg at the 6 o'clock-ish. So let me change the players and the score. You should know that I'm high. That's good to know. So BigFan is well prepared. Oh. Okay, cool. I think everything should be good now. So the map, Destination, 2-player map, and usually that means we're going to see a bit more defensive play, especially from the Zerg, who would typically 12 hatch, but he might do something like an overpool now, though he is saving up, and I think he's just going to try for the 12 hatch anyway. And it's going to be a bit difficult for him, I think, as this SCV should make it to the natural in time to block the expansion. As actually sending all 3. Nope, sending 2. So 2's not bad, and they should be able to ward away the SCV somewhat easily. But oh, I think BigFan looking to build something, you know, maybe a supply depot or an engineering bay. Actually, I think you need a barracks to build an engineering bay, right? So just a supply depot or a barracks in that spot to block it. And looks like the SCV almost going down. He doesn't want to lose it quite yet. He should be fairly certain, as it does go down, should be fairly certain that his opponent is going for a 12 hatch, but he would ideally like to keep that alive for a bit longer. See the gas timing, see the pool timing, all that good stuff. And IWAY now banking a bit of larva as well as a good bit of money, but now his pool is coming down. Doesn't want to get it too late, although he had the money, just throw down a hatchery. As he could be quite concerned about early marine pressure, and it looks like IWAY actually his overlord in a very precarious position, and I don't think it quite sees this command center, but he's essentially double scouting his opponent. This marine could easily get this overlord kill, I think, especially because it has the high ground. Doesn't go for the drone to finish it off. As the drone now trying to sneak in, I don't know what the heck's going on there, but it looks like I think the overlord will actually escape to safety. BigFan not noticing it quite soon enough, and he's just going for a 1-rax expand. It's looking pretty standard for him. His gas not quite up yet, as he is going to get a bunker instead at the front, and his supply depot good. It's coming along quite nicely. On the other hand, IWAY, he's got his 3 hatcheries up, he's got his pool, and 3 Zerglings coming along, but doesn't have his gas quite yet. Definitely has the money to get it, though. So, a little bit of a mistake there, as he is now droning after his, well, actually, he's droning his natural, but he's getting an 8th pair of lings. So he's going to have a good number of Zerglings, and maybe this is because he doesn't know what his opponent's doing quite yet, but I'm not quite sure here. As BigFan, he's now got his gas, he's got the academy coming up, and so it doesn't look like it's going to be a +1 5-rax, as I believe you get the engineering bay first instead of the academy. So we'll have to see what he goes for. He could go for some early tanks. Now Destination has these 2 double bridges right outside your natural, and it makes defending your natural fairly easy, but it also makes contains incredibly potent, especially lurker contains. So he could go for some early siege tanks, predicting that his opponent will go for early lurkers, and attempt to break that earlier than you would normally have happen, just like maybe like a 3-rax factory, or maybe even go straight to factory and get Valkyries if need be. But it looks like he is going to get a second barracks, at least for now, as he floats his barracks over to hang out with his other barracks buddy. And Stim on the way as well. Interesting here. Is he getting speed? No, it looks like IWAY just going straight for his lair. Getting a sunken colony. It's not a terrible spot, but normally you see players get their sunken colonies a little bit up so they cover both sides of this ramp. Or, I mean, both sides of the bridge. And look, this one, there's a little bit of a window here for Marines, Vultures, whatever, to run by and do some damage to the mineral line behind. His second gas now coming up as well. His lair nearing completion, and speed actually started now. So he might look to do a bit of a Ling backstab if BigFan moves out, and that could be pretty good. It's a pretty common maneuver by Zergs, and it's extremely effective if used right. Keep your opponent in his base, or do lots of damage if he's too far out on the map when you hit, and he doesn't feel like he should come back. BigFan now, he's getting his third barracks and his engineering bay. I think he will have turrets in time. Oh yeah, for sure. He's gonna have turrets in time. Well, his engineering will be up. Engineering bay will be up in time for him to have turrets in time. And IWAY, he's got a good count of drones down. Maybe a couple more in the main, but overall his drone saturation is about where he wants it to be. And actually, he predicts the STV coming in and mining out his back. I think this Overlord might have seen it. And so that's very good for him. BigFan now, if he wants to see what his opponent's doing, he's definitely going to have to build a comsat. And he does have one, but I'm not sure where he scanned. I would think he scanned the main, as that is the typical place. But now BigFan moving out along the left side of the map. And interesting. Not sure what he intends to do, just swinging around this corner. As his SCV, if it had managed to mine out those back minerals, he could have come in the back door of IWAY and potentially done some good damage. Looks like IWAY now with his speed Zerglings, he's looking to maybe do a bit of a counterattack, but BigFan, he's left 3 Marines in the bunker, so that definitely is not going to do anything, and they're just hanging out now on the other side of the map. As he's now moving up to 4 sunken colonies, very afraid of this push, as he's getting +1 carapace for his Mutalisk, but he really shouldn't be, as there's not very many Marines and only 1 Firebat, along with the 2 medics. If he had brought the... Ooh, looks like actually the Zerglings coming in, and they do take out 1 SCV so far, maybe a second one. Nope. Looks like maybe just 1 SCV getting taken out. But in the meantime, there's actually no turrets, and he's definitely going to want to start those soon, as Mutalisks are on the way. In fact, they're already out, the initial batch. So IWAY, he's definitely going to have the potential for a good timing here, as there's only 2 in the main. And looks like 3, 4, 5, holy moly, coming up in the natural. Of course, his barracks a little bit undefended, and looks like IWAY, instead he's using his Mutalisk to try and break out the front. But I think a smarter move would be to go for the Terran's natural or main, at least scout it out a little bit, because he's got 4 sunken colonies, and he had a healthy number of Zerglings as well. I think he should have felt fairly comfortable holding his natural, even against the forces of BigFan. So it looks like the Mutalisk now, they're moving out a little bit, and he's taking a lot of damage. Taking a good amount of damage. He's going to lose a Mutalisk soon if he isn't careful. And as long as they're hurt but not dead, it's not too bad, but he does lose another one there. Messing up his micro a bit. Mutalisk micro, extremely difficult. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. My Mutalisk micro is so terrible. So he's doing a lot better than I could, but the Marine's still doing a lot of damage to them. It's getting a little bit dangerous, as now he is moving out. It looks like he might be able to A-move these Marines. Yeah, he easily is able to do that, but he's lost a good number of Mutalisks, and this +1 carapace investment is not really, it's not going to pay enough ends if he keeps losing too many Mutalisks before it comes into play. But IWAY looks like he's going to take this base as his third, and on destination, this is the base you typically see players get. But in ZVT, I actually like to get this base more, because you just have this one little bridge, and it's not high ground, but it chokes the Marines effectively like a ramp would on a 4-player map like Fighting Spirit, and take that corner base. It's much the same thing, so I definitely do like that base better as a third location. But who knows, it could turn out good for IWAY. as actually his lurker tech. Let's take a quick check before the Mutalisks come in. It's not anywhere to be seen. Looks like he does have a Hydros Den, but he's not quite researching lurkers yet, and lurkers take a long time to research, so there's definitely a window here for BigFan to potentially do some damage. But it looks like the Mutalisks coming in, their +1 carapace is done, and on the other hand, the Marines have no upgrades as of yet. +1 attack only about 30% of the way done. The Mutalisks taking a fair amount of damage, but they're taking out a good number of Marines as well. And if he manages to take out the Marines, he can open up a nice little window to harass the SCVs of BigFan. Could be quite good for him. One thing is that he's not pulling out his mutas a little fast enough. After the Marine stim, it's generally a good idea to wait at least a little bit for the stim to wear down, and they've lost all that energy, or that health rather, and the medics have to use all the energy to heal them. Just wearing down the medics and the Marines just a little bit at a time. But if you engage too often, the stim's still up and it pays for itself. Looks like the medic's bugging out in the mineral line. I hate this. I hate this with all my heart. SCVs do not need healing, bro. I gotta help the Marines. But Mutalisks here, they're doing a fair bit of damage. Not extreme amounts, although it's actually getting a bit heavy now. But not as much as he could potentially be doing. BigFan doing a decent job of defending the Mutalisk harassment. He does have 5 barracks and now 2 factories on the way, actually, getting tanks and vulture speed, which is a little bit interesting. Typically you would see the vulture mines coming up before you would see speed for sure, and still no starport on the way. But it's not going to be too bad for him, as his opponent is heavily invested in this Mutalisk tech. It looks like another hatchery coming up. No Queen's Nest yet, though, as lurker upgrade is about 3/4 of the way done. And now BigFan, he's looking to move out of it. He does lose a medic. This Marine force is going to get decimated, and IWAY, I think he's going to take this engagement for sure, and he might be able to push into the natural. Probably doesn't want to risk it. His Mutalisks are going to take a lot of damage from the turrets, and the Zerglings are going to have a fairly difficult time taking down that bunker. Looks like he's moving back with his Mutalisks for the moment. What is his upgrades looking like? Looks like carapace on the way. That is going to be +1 carapace, and that'll be really good for his Zerglings, as the Terran just now getting +1 attack, and moving on to his +1 armor as well. And it looks like he got vulture speed, but I don't see any vultures. He's just pumping tanks at the moment. This is definitely very interesting. Curious game plan here going on, but as he does take this base, is essentially hitting, and I don't think IWAY is going to scout that anytime soon, although the Mutalisks might as they come into harass. And these tanks actually could get taken out if IWAY realizes this could be a big blow for BigFan. He's invested a lot into the tanks, and tanks are very expensive anyway. Looks like he's coming in and he's messing up his micro a little bit, and yeah, he does. He pokes the tanks a little bit, but you know, BigFan doesn't lose any, so he's going to be okay there. In the meantime, looks like behind all this aggression and crazy Mutalisks play, IWAY has not droned very much and doesn't have very good saturation at his third, but it's not going to be a big deal, as he is now coming in with his Mutalisks, these lurkers, very late, but they are going to be able to get a good contain off on his opponent, who does have 4 siege tanks, yes, 4, and potentially, yeah, 5, 6 actually as well. But no science vessels, so he's going to have to spend a lot of scans to get them down. And his Marine count very, very low. So these Mutalisks that have stayed alive for all this time are definitely going to be able to put the hurt on BigFan if he tries to move out too aggressively without enough Marines, as he is getting a good number up now. Starport is done, but no science facility yet, as I can see. And BigFan, he really wants to move across these double bridges. He doesn't want to get contained, especially if Swarm was anywhere close. Looks like Queen's Nest, though, just barely started, and so he doesn't really have to worry about the Swarm yet, but he does have to be concerned about too many lurkers, as a good number of lurkers now coming up, and he's losing some Mutalisks. He looks like he's trying to trade his Mutalisks for some siege tanks to really delay this push, but BigFan, he's got like 6 siege tanks, man. He doesn't really mind too much if he loses 2 of them, as he does trade 2 siege tanks for, like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 Mutalisks there. I think he would definitely take that trade, as he is now looking to push out IWAY, keeping his money fairly low now. And on the other hand, though, BigFan, he's banking a lot, and this base behind his base only has one SCV at the moment. Looks like IWAY, he's moving into at least a little bit. He wants to pick off these tanks, it looks like, and preserve his lurker force. And his lurker's now whittling down the Marines. There's not very many Marines left. IWAY can definitely push in, but I don't think he has too many Mulas left either. And a good number of turrets and siege tanks in the back. Looks like he's just sacrificing some units now. He's trying to take down siege tanks again. Just delay this more and more, I guess. It's working for him, but he's sacrificing a lot of stuff. But on the other hand, he does have 3 bases, although again, his drone saturation has not increased at all, really, as he's just producing straight military out of his larva. Looks like +2 carapace on the way for his ground units. And Queen's Nest done, but Hive not yet started. And actually, IWAY moving in, and looks like he lost a lot of units trying to come across that double bridge. And the lurker's burrowing, but there's plenty of detection with that missile turret there. And IWAY sacrifices his standing army to BigFan in the defense, and this could be very bad for IWAY. His gas count extremely low, his minerals not that much higher. He doesn't have a lot of money left, basically. And BigFan here, he's got a decent sized army and getting a dropship now as well. Looks like a couple more SCVs being built here. Might as well just go ahead and mine that out. But I think right now he's just enjoying the fact that it is hidden and his opponent doesn't know it's quite there yet. Looks like science facility done, but no science vessel started yet, and neither is irradiate. Looks like some mules coming in here for some potential late harassment, but they're going to fly right over the Marines, doing a good amount of damage to the Mutalisk, but not right-clicked, so he's not going to take out a single Mutalisk. In the meantime, he's actually taking this opportunity to drone up a lot. So now his third is saturated, but he still doesn't have that gas. Moving up to Hive Tech, he really needs the gas for sure. And his +2 carapace is going to be done soon. Where is the ground forces for IWAY? It looks like he's got a couple lurkers, a good number of Zerglings, and a few Hydralisks, which are most likely, completely useless at the moment. BigFan, though, he's only got 2 tanks, and they're already somewhat damaged, so if he takes down the tanks, this Marine force could get easily eaten up. It looks like IWAY not quite in position. He's moving his ground forces over now. The lurkers taking a lot of damage before they do manage to burrow, and BigFan, if he scans immediately, he could take down these lurkers with his tank, but it looks like he might just be trying to focus down the hatchery. How did that drone get stuck back there? Well, it's dead now, so it doesn't matter. Can't tell us the story. Looks like he is going to focus down this hatchery, but looks like IWAY, he's going to move up with his lurkers a little bit, trying to take down the Marines, and the Mutalisk coming in, but they're just dying, and he might be able to take down one siege tank. Yes, the Mutalisk bounce does manage to take down the siege tank. One still alive in the back as he loses all the Mutalisk, but it looks like he will probably save his hatchery if he gets his Zerglings over in time. This looks like I didn't miss a drop or anything, so that's good. A couple of drones actually dying. This is not looking good for IWAY. He definitely could stop this. He can stop it. He's just got to get in position. Looks like he might be doing some sort of counterattack, trying to check for the Terran expansions. But yeah, there's none except for back here, of course. And this is looking a little bit worrisome for IWAY. He's back down to 2 bases. He lost a lot of drones in that. Looks like his defiler mount is up, and I'm not quite sure if he's got consume. He is building defilers though, and given enough time they will accumulate 100 energy. Consume not entirely necessary. Looks like in the meantime BigFan taking what remains of this military force to the back base here, but IWAY never took it, so they're not going to get too much more done. They could though. He could actually siege up this tank in the back here and take out a couple of drones. Looks like that might be what he's looking to do. All he needs is a scan. There was a scan, but I don't know where the heck it happened. Maybe down here. As a good number of siege tanks moving out, but there's not enough Marine support, and these Zerglings are going to tear the tanks up really easily. And oh man, and the dropship actually flying into the mayhem as well. He actually picks up the tank, and they might survive. Oh, fly dropship, fly! Oh no. They're just hanging out with a bunch of Zerglings below it, clearly in IWAY's vision. But he did save the tank for the moment, and looks like IWAY here, he's moving into the natural to try and break the Terran, but only with his Mutalisk and a couple of Zerglings. Not quite his full force. Looks like the dropship is still alive. I don't know how the heck this thing lives. And but IWAY here, he's moving out some Scourge, and oh no, is he gonna get the drop off? Yes, no, he gets one Marine. Oh, so one Marine doesn't make it, but he does get this tank, which has 3 kills already, into IWAY's base. But IWAY should be able to take this out without too much effort. Just like 6 Zerglings. And looks like Swarm, in the meantime, is down in BigFan's natural, and he's definitely taking a lot of hurt from this. Looks like the forces are going to be mostly cleared up, but if IWAY can continue to control this other side of the double bridge with Swarms and Zerglings and Lurkers, then it could be very good for him, because Terran really needs a lot of space to whittle down the defiler count and prevent the Swarms from just overwhelming him. Looks like IWAY here, he's reinforcing this contain at least a little bit. Would like to see a couple Lurkers, but he doesn't really have the gas for it. In the meantime, did he lose any drones here? Oh, 16 kills on the siege tank. I don't know how many of those are drones, but he could have done quite a bit of damage, but I missed it. In the meantime, BigFan, he has science vessels. I don't know if he has irradiate quite yet, but definitely has the energy to irradiate. So that would be very good for him if he can get out there and do the irradiate thing. But IWAY, in the meantime, he's retaking his 3rd base at the location that I initially suggested. Looks like this tank getting a little bit bold, trying to take down these Zerglings. As BigFan, is this tank gonna come over here and kill this? I'm not quite sure. It's actually retreating now, and Swarm's going down on top of these Marines. A couple Firebats here, but it looks like this force is going to get taken out. IWAY trading very nicely for those couple Marines, not losing too much in return. And BigFan looks like he's completely mined out, actually, with the exception of his mineral base in the back here, which he's built a ton of turrets at. And in case of any mutilous aggression, his money is quite high, so he definitely has the money to keep playing and keep expanding. As he does put down a nice defense matrix on the lead siege tank, and I think he defense matrixed a Zergling. Yeah, defense matrix is Zergling. And BigFan, I think he's going to get overwhelmed here, as he's got Zerglings in his natural. He doesn't have any Marines left. A huge medic party, though. It's a medic rave. They're hanging out, and they're trying to save the SCVs, actually, who are getting just massacred. Wow, losing a lot of SCVs here. And I think this game is fairly close to being over, as IWAY here, he's definitely done a lot of damage to his opponent. In the meantime, this little hit squad here is still alive, and still not doing much, actually, as it were. And he might be able to focus down the command center if BigFan does not lift it soon enough, but looks like some Firebats gonna take down these Zerglings. Still not a sure thing. Firebats are like this really cool unit, but they're just not very effective, I find. Especially when you get into the late game, where they're used, you know, they can still do damage under Swarm and all that good stuff, but Zerg has crack upgrade, what do they care? Zerglings, just too good, man, too good. I hear some Zerglings, but I don't know where they are. Ah, there's one right here. Denying this base, and if all goes well, he actually might see this base behind here, too, and be able to take out both in one sure stroke. Looks like a couple of Lurkers here at the front. Oh, this hit squad now finally moving in and doing something, but I don't think he got too many more drones. The siege tank managed to get 20 kills before he dies. Maybe a couple more. Nope. He does manage to get 20 kills, still very impressive for him. Put that on his gravestone for sure. And looks like IWAY, he's going to mine out very soon, but he has secured this base, joining it up a bit as well, getting another hatchery. And another evolution chamber. Let's see, what are the upgrades looking like? I think he still just has 2 carapace, and now working on +1 attack for his Zerglings. Another evolution chamber up, and Ultralisk's cavern is up as well. It looks like IWAY here, he's going to come in with a bunch of Zerglings and a couple of Mutalisks and a ton of Scourge, which aren't doing anything at the moment. Sort of hanging out in the back, giving the science vessels a chance to run. They gave him a head start. They gave him a couple minutes head start, but the science vessel didn't take it. So it looks like BigFan here, he's managed to macro up a little bit of an army, and he's moving out. But this is going to be very dangerous for him. He does have detection on that Lurker, so he's going to be able to take it down. If his forces will actually attack it, oh no, the science vessel actually moved out of the view of the Lurker, and Does take it down now, but he's lost a lot of his forces. He does save the command center as natural from before, but there's nothing there to mine, so he should probably lift that. Doesn't even have a ComSat. And BigFan here, he has like no gas, but he has a lot of minerals, so he can continue to pump Marines for a good while. Looks like this command center actually moving out across the map, going on an epic quest of discovery. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll try and take this base or something with it. I don't know. Could just be that it's attempting to hide. And BigFan here, he's macroed up a decent sized army, and it looks like he's moving in for the attack. IWAY though, it doesn't have too much to lose at this base, just a couple of drones. And he's moving in a large Zergling force, but there's no Defiler support, so his Marines should be able to trade somewhat effectively, but the huge upgrade advantage of IWAY is really coming into play here. These Marines just not able to really go toe-to-toe with these, you know, +2 armor, +1 attack Zerglings with the Adrenal upgrade. Marines only at 1-1 at the moment, and it looks like he does now get a swarm down, moving in with some more Zerglings, some tanks coming up to reinforce. They're just going to get taken down though for sure. The Zerglings cleaning up. Science Vessels just hanging out for the moment. Would be cool if he scourged them, but I don't think he has any scourge in the vicinity, so Kakaru flying around, wishing the Marines safe passage, but I don't think they're going to get it. BigFan here, he's moving out with another attack. Looks like he really wants to do some hurt to IWAY. As far as he knows, I think IWAY might still be on his original 2 bases. I don't think he scouted this base over here. So BigFan might feel like he still has a chance in this game. Looks like the siege tank getting a little bit ahead of itself. It might die, but it looks like he saves it for now, and he does end up losing it. Siege tank fairly useful, even with swarms out. Does damage under the swarm to things that aren't burrowed. But looks like he sacrifices these Marines to get away with a couple. And BigFan pushed back again to his natural, which isn't mining. And it looks like actually IWAY, he might have gotten wind of this back base, which is all that all of BigFan's mining right now, except for he does have some gas here. And BigFan just lifting his command center immediately, probably going to lose these SCVs as he does attempt to run them. If you want to be an admin for Icy Cup, let Icy Cup face know. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. BigFan here, he's huddling his SCVs. These 2 SCVs, where's that dropship man? It saved the siege tank. It's got to save these SCVs too. They are attempting to shelter though in this little crevice where the Marines can protect them. But oh, it gets a kill. Awesome. Gets a kill on a crackling too. He's definitely should get a trophy for that. But now he's dead. And IWAY, he's looking, again, in an incredibly good position. BigFan here, he's moving out with the science vessels. Not quite sure what he hopes to accomplish. He could do a nice eraser on these drones if he... yep, he is actually. Very cool. But loses one of the science vessels almost immediately to some Scourge. And he's going to get a couple of drone kills. Actually, a good number of drone kills, but I don't think IWAY really cares here. As he is at 103 supply. BigFan at 55 and not mining at all, actually. So he's getting vultures. He does have that vulture speed that he upgraded very, very early into this game. So that's going to be good for him. And Ultra's coming in here. Going to get a couple kills before he does die. And looks like IWAY here, he might be moving in for the big attack to end the game. As now BigFan, this is where his final defense is going to be tested. Swarm not quite up yet. Oh, get down the swarm. Get down the swarm. It's got plenty of energy. It looks like he gets down the swarm, but it is somewhat late. I don't think it's going to matter too much, though. Ultralisk coming in. Not tanking too much damage at the moment, but the crackling is doing tons of damage. And BigFan here, he's microing pretty decently, folding back his Marine force. And maybe he can get some medics on the ramp. Nope, not quite. But the Ultralist is getting bugged out a little bit. And it looks like BigFan here actually will hold. He manages to hold somehow. And there's actually a turret here for just no reason. But again, BigFan, I think this game is pretty done for him. As IWAY, he's moving in with some more Zerglings. The Ultra is still alive. Does get taken down by the siege tank. And we don't see any mines actually on these vultures, so he has the speed but not the mines. As IWAY coming in, just continuing to stream forces. Looks like these Zerglings in the back are bugged out, and should expect a GG fairly soon here. A couple of lurkers, not anything too interesting. It would be cool to see him earlier in the game. It would have been cool to see him get a greater spire, as he did have a good number of Mutalisks in the mid to late game that had survived, and that definitely could have been useful to get a couple Guardians, put him back here. But he didn't. Apparently BigFan slaughters some baby Zerglings. And apologizing, but he shouldn't, because Zerglings are evil. And there's the GG. Well played. And game 4 now over. Stealth Bunnies does finally lose a set, so they will not clean sweep Air Force Con. And game 5 coming up soon, in just a minute.